Yo, 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 yo. We're going to jump right in. We're going to jump right in. Yo, morning time. Dog check in the morning. John, Harry, Michael, Shane, Denise, Gloria, Moment of Zed. How we doing? Breaking news. Adam Schefter tweets it. It is official. That's what you want to look for. Adam Schefter tweets it. It's official. Kevin Stefanski has been fired. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Black Monday has arrived. Coaches are gone. Happy birthday to DJ Girl. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. Kevin Stefanski is no longer in Cleveland. Let's discuss it. Hit the like button, like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. How do we feel this morning that Kevin Stefanski is gone? People say they aren't surprised, but was this a good move by the Cleveland Browns? Let's talk about Kevin Stefanski for a second. Now, he went to the playoffs 2 times during his time in Cleveland, 2020 and 2023. 2-time Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski. Did he deserve to get the can? 46-58 was his career record in Cleveland. That's like a 44% percentage record. Was he given the raw deal here? Let me know as you come in. I hope they build around Shador. Let's go. Let me say, this is your breaking this before some of the bigger channel. So yeah, listen, I'm here. I am here. And I shouldn't be here, Harry. I shouldn't even be here, Having car troubles, but it's not here or there. Yes, they need a change. It's not working. Don't crash out. We need a change. No, he was not. Thanks, y'all. It's Miss Riley. Oh, how you doing, Miss Riley? He wasn't given a raw deal. Let's break down Kevin Stefanski for a second. Hit the likes when you come in, ladies and gentlemen. His last 2 years, in my humble opinion, is why he got fired, okay? You can't go 8-26 during your last 2 seasons and think you're going to keep your position as a head coach, because winning matters, especially last season when the Browns went 3-14. This year, I don't think anybody thought the Browns would be playoff contenders. But last year, Shane, Cynthia, Super Denise, 3-14 was unacceptable. People thought we were going to the playoffs last season. We were in high hopes we were going to the playoffs. And we laid a dud. Complete trash can. Now this year, we didn't think we were going to the playoffs, but we thought that we were going to be, more competitive than what we were. But I think what got him the can this year was how we handled the quarterback position. It was a circus as more people come in. How are you doing, Cynthia? He messed up the rookie competition, like Gloria said. It's where I was going. It was atrocious, ladies and gentlemen. 4 quarterbacks competing for one job in the history of the NFL. I don't know if that has ever happened. And 2 of the quarterbacks were no longer on the roster by October. Kenny Pickett, a glorified backup, and then Joe Flacco. Listen, I have all the respect for Joe Flacco. But when you go into the season, your plan is to start a 40-year-old quarterback when you have 2 rookies on the roster. That is just malpractice, in my humble opinion. We were the laughingstocks. 100% agreed, clown show. If he's the one going for it on 4th and 6 on the other team's 20 in the first quarter, Coach Prime. Okay, listen. Coach Primetime, he's not coaching the Cleveland Browns. Now, they are talking about Mike McDaniel, Brian Flores, are 2 names that I have heard of. Listen, I'm all for Brian Flores, okay? Mike McDaniel, on the other hand, listen, I don't want Mike McDaniel to coach the Cleveland Browns. Give me Brian Flores Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If there's another day that you know of, sign me up. Hit that like when you come in. We've only got 9 likes. What are we doing, folks? Hit that like button when you come in, please. It's free. Hit the thumb. It looks like this. Greatly appreciate it. Keep Mike away. I don't even know why he is in consideration. You might as well keep Kevin Stefanski if you're going to hire Mike McDaniel. I'm just saying. But how do we feel? From a scale of 1 to 10. 1, we are sad that Kevin Stefanski is gone. Or a 10, we are elated that Kevin Stefanski is gone. But I will say this. Be careful what you wish for in this NFL landscape. Stefanski was good for a season or 2, but never seemed to be able to show brilliance. I agree, Laser. His beginning, his first 2 seasons, it seemed like we were on the path for a decade relationship with Kevin Stefanski. His first season, he went 11-5, won a playoff game. Now, I know he had COVID and he was in the basement, but listen, he got the team there. They won a playoff game. He gets credit for that, okay? Is there a number higher than 10? Sure. 100. Started his season in Cleveland, ended his career in Cleveland. 100. Hopefully we keep Schwartz. The manner in which H. Now, that's a very good, interesting thing we have here. Because usually when a new coach comes in, they want their own guys, okay? They want their own staff to come in. So Jim Schwartz is an interesting topic of conversation. Jim Schwartz has had this defense firing on all cylinders since he's been here. They've had some downs now, usually when they go on the road. But yesterday, they are the main reason why the Cleveland Browns won that football game, especially in the first half, when the offense was stuttering. It was in neutral, sometimes in reverse, going backwards, okay? The defense held its ground. I love Jim Schwartz, but if we get a new coach, they may want their own guys. Maybe Jim Schwartz is a candidate for a head coaching position for Cleveland. How do you feel about that? We know who's going to be the quarterback. Sanders is better in those 2 college players coming out. One more is only a sophomore in college, making it make sense. And I got Indiana the Heisman Trophy. Jim for head coach. Good morning from Dallas. What a way to start the day. How you doing, Randall? The manner in which he mismanaged DG and Shador was coaching malpractice. Miss Dookie, listen. I think that's what got him fired. If we're being honest, if Dylan Gabriel, and no disrespect to Dylan Gabriel, if Dylan Gabriel was never on this football team, or let's take Shador. If Shador's never on this football team and it's Dylan Gabriel, or if Shador's on this football team and Dylan Gabriel's not gone, you can take either combination you want. I don't think maybe Kevin Stefanski still has a job. Because you cannot have 2 rookie quarterbacks and one of the quarterbacks gets first team snaps and the other quarterback doesn't. That is malpractice to the 18th power times 6 electrical tapes. What does that mean? I don't know what the electrical tapes part means, but you get what I'm saying. Bill Belichick. Shane, is Tom Brady coming with Bill Belichick? If he's not, I don't want Bill Belichick. I will never celebrate someone being fired in these circumstances. However, Browns needed a change since this was not working. Listen, Gloria, I agree with what you're saying. I don't want anybody to lose their job. But if you're going to lose a job, it will be an NFL coach or the NBA coach because they're going to have a lot of money. And I believe Kevin Stefanski is going to find a job very, very quickly. Whether it's another head coaching position or whether it's as an offensive coordinator, what he was in Minnesota before he got hired as the Browns head coach. I think he lands on his feet very, very quick. It really is. Kevin handled it all wrong. Thank you, JJ Spuds. Did you hit the like button, JJ Spuds? If you haven't, make sure you come on in, hit that like button, because now we're going into a new atmosphere of the future in Cleveland. And does that future start with Shador Sanders? That's the next question we have to talk about here. Is Bargain Bin Berry going to stay or get fired? Laser, very good question. Bargain Bin Berry is here to stay. I think Andrew Bargain Bin Berry saved his job with the draft class that he drafted in 2025. An amazing draft class. The only stain on that draft class is Dylan Gabriel, because where he was picked, nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, had Dylan Gabriel as a third-round pick except Dylan Gabriel and his friends and family when they're playing Madden and they're doing a fantasy draft. That's it. Nobody else did. So I think that is the reason Andrew Berry is going to keep his job. He knocked this draft out of the park. Besides the third-round pick, Carson Scheswinger, Judkins, okay? Now, you can say Mason Graham, trading the pick to get Mason Graham, and then getting a pick in Jacksonville pick for next year. Now, you can argue about, well, they shouldn't have got Shador Sanders. You can make that argument. But getting Shador Sanders for a fifth-round pick, I think, is a steal of all steals. Okay? That's like Kenny Lofton stealing a base. If you know, you know. Working the drive-thru at McDonald's. Sandra, Neat, Jimmy Horn, and Xavier Weaver, wide receiver. Okay, we can't draft all Colorado receivers, okay? Shador beat Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow with 7 weeks reps with the ones. That is, listen, that's a good point. Now, he did have help from his defense. Let's give his defense credit, especially yesterday. The defense balled out, but it's a very good point. That's a very, very good point. Happy Monday. What I don't understand, I watched the game yesterday, but ain't nobody talk about it. He threw the ball to 2. While I was receiving, they dropped the ball. Nobody. Who's 2? Ball to 2. Who's 2? Maybe I don't understand what you're saying. I know Sam Cannella dropped a touchdown pass. I know Sam Cannella dropped a touchdown pass in the breadbasket that should have been a touchdown, and then we wouldn't have been in the predicament to have to make a winning kick. But I'm not sure who 2 is, or maybe I'm reading it wrong. This makes me feel a little bit better. My Ravens lost last night. I've always followed Shador since Jackson State and will support him. You miss Baker? I don't. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers couldn't make the playoffs in the NFC South, Shane. That's all I'm saying. Good morning, Casey. How are you doing? Breaking news. Kevin Stefanski is out of here. He is gone. If you didn't know, Adam Schefter tweeted it. ESPN is also tweeted it. Those are official. It's not Jerry in his basement writing an article with Crayola crowns, okay? This is official people in the know. Adam Schefter and ESPN. It's a done deal. He's gone. But the future is going to be interesting for Cleveland, and here's why. Deshaun Watson is still in the building, ladies and gentlemen. And the new coach that comes in, are they going to want to work with Shador Sanders? That's the question. Because when you have a new coach, they, a lot of the times, want their staff, and then some of the times, they want their quarterback as well. So that's going to be an interesting storyline that we're going to have to watch in these upcoming months when we're doing this coaching search. One, are they going to work with Shador? I don't think Dylan is even in conversation anymore. I don't think Dylan is going to be a factor. But I think Deshaun Watson's going to be a factor, and Shador Sanders. Do they want to work with Shador and possibly Deshaun Watson, because Deshaun Watson has a $230 million contract still. It's still on the books. It's not going anywhere. So that's something to look at. Okay? Um, I'm surprised it didn't happen last night. Atlanta's coach got fired last night. I think, listen, it's a business world. It's a cruel business world. But you can at least wait till the next day, especially if they won a game, right? Atlanta won last night. Can you at least let the man celebrate a victory? Fire him the next day? Do we have a heart? Evidently, Atlanta didn't. Good morning, P. Marie. Listen, they're not going to sign every... Listen, Shador fans. I understand you love Shador Sanders. It's not going to be the Cleveland, Colorado, Buffalo Browns. They're not going to sign every Colorado receiver that's ever played. I love Ohio State, right? I don't want them going out there and signing every Ohio State receiver that ever lived to play for the Browns. If Kevin was manager at Walmart and wasn't doing his job, would you mind if he got fired for not doing his job? Would I mind if he got fired for not doing his job if he was a manager at Walmart? I don't mind him not getting fired now. So I don't know if that's a question. I think he should have got fired. I don't know the relevance to that. If he's not doing his job, he should have got fired. I'd said he shouldn't have got fired yesterday. Let him enjoy his victory. But I thought he should have got fired. So I'm not sure why that's the question. He should have got fired because he just wasn't good anymore. So I'm not sure why that's relevant. But to answer your question, if the Walmart manager is not doing their job, yes, they should get fired. If they're at Walmart, Kroger, Giant Eagle, Jiffy Lube, if you're not doing your job, you should get fired. Point blank. Write it on the grease board and make it official. Fired. Xavier Weaver is a good addition. Sandra is a machine. Sanders is a machine. Bring money into Cleveland organization. Remember that. Now he is. Listen, I agree. Listen. Shador Sanders. If you look at a big picture when it comes to Shador, if you look at a big picture with Shador, he's a money maker. When we talk about franchise quarterbacks, he's a money maker. A franchise quarterback is not just, are they good at football? Yes, you want your quarterback to be good at football. I'm not saying that. But you also think about the franchise quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. They make revenue and they're good at football as well, right? Sam Darnold. I like Sam Darnold. He's won 14 games, back-to-back years. Vikings, Seahawks. But Sam Darnold isn't going to do the same things like a Patrick Mahomes as far as revenue goes, as far as nationally known. I can walk up to a random person at Pizza Hut and say, hey, do you know Patrick Mahomes? And there's a good chance they say yes. Isn't he in the State Farm commercials? And they might not even know about the Kansas City quarterback. And I can do the same thing and go, hey, do you know Sam Darnold? I go, who? Because they may not watch football like that. So my point is, Shador Sanders has a chance, if he can prove himself to be really, really good at the quarterback position, to be in the conversations as franchise quarterbacks with the Josh Allens, the Patrick Mahomes, because of the star power that he possesses. He was a 5th-round pick, and they interviewed him when he wasn't playing. They wanted to know questions. They wanted to know his answers to questions, and he was a 5th-round pick, not playing. When Dylan Gabriel stopped playing, he didn't get interviewed one time. Think about that for a second. All right, back to the topic. I'm sorry. We also need some backup O-linemen to protect your QB. Facts. Did the Chiefs make it to the playoffs this year? They did not. not. All 12 fans do not want to sign every Colorado receiver. We just need to draft or get 12 someone to throw to. That's good. That's good. And you know what, M. Parker? That's what the Browns need to do this upcoming draft. And that's what the head coach needs to do. And who do you guys think is going to replace Kevin Stefanski? Put it in the chat right now. It is your chance to be Nostradamus and call your shot. Who do you think is going to be the next head coach? It is your chance to call your shot right now. In the chat, you can say you called it. January 5th, 2026 at 9:30 a.m. Who will be the replacement to Kevin Stefanski? Call your shot. What up, AAA? How you doing? Jim Schwartz, Brian Flores, Deion Sanders. Call your shot right now. This is your chance. Someone who can work with Shador, Schwartz. What up, Django? Corey? That ain't happening. Clint Kubiak, Seahawks offensive coordinator. Book it. First time I heard that name. All right. I like it. Jim Schwartz, Brian Flores. Nobody thinks Mike McDaniel. Mike McCarthy. Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie? Doug Flutie? Prime to stay at CSU. John Gruden, Eric Bieniemy, Tom Brady. Kevin Stefanski. Do you think Kevin Stefanski will get another head coaching job? I hate to see it. What when the draft come and Cleveland package Sanders to a different team that need a quarterback? Do you think Cleveland will trade Shador? I don't think they will. I think Shador Sanders winning his last two games, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, that 2-minute drive yesterday, and I will give Kevin Stefanski credit where credit is due. Yesterday, even though it was his last game as coach, I think he did more coaching yesterday, more emotion than I've ever seen out of him this season. He was talking to Shador Sanders, coaching up Shador Sanders yesterday, if you paid attention to the sidelines. He had more emotion than I have ever seen out of him this season. It's like he knew the writing was on the wall. I will give him credit yesterday. But that 2-minute, that last game-winning drive that Shador Sanders did yesterday, if you didn't believe in Shador Sanders yesterday, if you were one of those people on the fence because he's thrown interceptions or he's turned over the football, when the game mattered, when it was on the line, he delivered. Big third down throw to Isaiah Bond. Threw him open too. The coverage was tight. Big throw to Jerry Jeudy. Big plays on that drive. And I give Kevin Stefanski credit. He was coaching with enthusiasm yesterday, coaching up Shador more than I've seen all season. It's a very good win for the Browns. Yes, with the Giants. I hope they wouldn't, but Cleveland is a crazy organization. Yes, he'll be coaching next season. John Gruden. You do think Stefanski will get another job? You did see that? Okay, D-Will. Hire a coach as a player's quarterback coach and get along with everybody in a good personality and go forward on 4th and 1 like Detroit. Now, you want to be careful, big dog. Dan Campbell is a good coach, but sometimes he gets carried away, okay? He gets carried away for how much he goes for it. He's a good coach, but I don't want a coach that goes for it as much as he does. Sometimes just take your points. Dan Campbell gets outrageous for how much he goes for it. I'm like, yo, take your points. But I agree with that. Listen, if you watch Houston, Texas games, that's the kind of coach I want. They love him in Texas. That's the kind of coach I want. Houston Texans, pay attention to them. That's the coach I want. They love him. KS post-game speech was job interview 2. Defenders coming in free, no one touch. Listen, watch out for Tommy Rees, maybe in the short list. Tommy Rees? For me, I just don't know. Who knows? Tommy Rees or Jim Schwartz for coach. Well, look how many times Brady or Mahomes has thrown interceptions and others, but they had their Super Bowls. He is not used to winning, so his energy was never there until Shador showed up with his energy and he gave him some hope. 4th and 12, let's go for it. Do you think they're going to fire John Harbaugh? Listen, B. Skrills. Stefanski's back to Vikings as offensive coordinator. I think the Browns hired the BYU head coach. Tommy Rees and Shador seem to get along. If they fire John Harbaugh, B. Skrills, they need to lose their franchise. They need to lose the franchise. John Harbaugh, if they fire him, they need to lose their franchise. Please fire him. I'll take John Harbaugh tomorrow. I'll take John Harbaugh tomorrow. If it wasn't for that kicker, they'd be in the playoffs today. The kicker couldn't do his job. If they had Andre the Schmidt, they'd be in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying, B. Skrills. I'm not saying you think they should. I'm just saying, if they do, I will take him in a heartbeat. They already got 3 quarterbacks now, or 4. I think maybe Sanders can get number 2 back, his jersey number, the original one. I like him in 12 now. I'm used to it. Am I the only one that feels that way? I'm used to him in number 12 now. It's grew on me. Am I the only one that feels that way? I like him in number 12. I don't think they need a veteran quarterback. They have Deshaun Watson. For much people that don't like Deshaun, he is a veteran quarterback. Deshaun Watson's a veteran. I don't think they need to get a veteran quarterback. Deshaun Watson is a veteran quarterback. They don't need one, in my humble opinion. I don't think they need one. Now, if you're talking about a third string, sure, I'd get a third string veteran if you're done with Dylan or whatever. But they already have 3 quarterbacks. I think Deshaun's a veteran, and then you have Dylan Gabriel and Shador. Unless you're done with Dylan, I think Deshaun's a veteran. But that's just me. Do you think they'll get a college coach? What I want y'all to watch is those 2 quarterbacks in college, the Heisman Trophy guy and that Moore guy. Is they going to be a flute? I'd rather have an NFL coach, but that's just me. Let's hire Harbaugh. I'll take him too. You like 12? You like him in 12? I watched that whole Sunday night game and was stunned. You like 12? I think Las Vegas Raiders will take him. They did fight Pete Carroll. They said Watson was great for Shador. I think listen, as much people don't like Deshaun, I think he's a good veteran quarterback. And I think losing Kevin Stefanski, I think the Browns, if they keep Jim Schwartz, they need to hire an offensive-minded coach. You already have your defensive-minded in Jim Schwartz. Or if you hire Brian Flores, who's a defensive-minded coach, and you keep Jim Schwartz, you better hire a top-flight offensive coordinator, or you keep Tommy Rees. You may do that too. But I think if they hire like a Brian Flores, I think Tommy Rees is gone. He's going to want his own offensive guy, in my humble opinion. But that's just me. Does it mean I know? No. Does it mean I know everything? Absolutely not, because I have no clue who they are going to take. But I do tell you this. Deshaun Watson is going to be competing for the starting job next year because of how much money he makes. Deshaun Watson, I'm telling you right now, as much as I don't want it to be, want it to happen, Deshaun Watson, book it, will be competing for the starting job come August, July and August. He'll be competing for the quarterback position. Do I like it? No. Does it matter what I like? Absolutely not. Most importantly, What Corey on Sports members emojis will you be deleting today? Run the ball, Kevin is definitely out of here. Kevin is gone. Deshaun Watson is a veteran, Jeff. Why do people keep saying Deshaun Watson's not a veteran? He is a veteran, and he will be competing. Listen, if you hate Shador Sanders to the bottom of your Tootsie Toes, Deshaun Watson is a veteran. You don't need to bring anybody else in to compete. Deshaun, he's been in the league for a while now. He is a veteran. For people who don't think Shador is ready, that's fine. That's your opinion. But they have a veteran already on the roster. You don't need to waste another roster spot and get another quarterback. You have a veteran in the building. His name is Deshaun Watson. And he's cost you $230 million. Get the Ravens coach. You're watching Wolof Media now on YouTube. That's his brother. And I'm watching the Cleveland fans. They love Sanders' personality. Can he predict the winning numbers? I cannot. That's why I think Tom and Reese has a chance, because there are apparently a lot of other teams knocking on Reese's door. John Gruden, call him immediately. I'll tell you this. Kevin Stefanski. I will say this good about Kevin Stefanski, because it's easy to pile on him now. He's trash. Good riddance. Thank the Lord he is gone. I will give Kevin Stefanski this. He was the most accomplished coach we have had since 1999. He was the most accomplished coach. Recency biased, and what have you done for me lately? I understand it. I get it. Glad he's gone. Get out of here. But if you look at it in totality, he's done the most for the franchise since 1999. When you look at it in totality, he's done the most since 1999. And I got to say, thank you for that, Kevin Stefanski. I will say that. I will give him props where props is due. And I just think it's time for a new voice. I will say thank you to Kevin Stefanski, even though he got on my nerves sometimes with his decisions, his play calling, but he got us to playoff appearances. He got us to the postseason, especially 2023, when we started like 5 different quarterbacks. I will give him that. I still think he deserved to be fired, but I do think it's not going to happen. But I do think some fans still should be giving him his flowers for what he did in Cleveland. He's no Hugh Jackson, okay? He's no Hugh Jackson. Now, Hugh Jackson, when he got fired, good riddance. You did nothing right. But Kevin Stefanski did some good things. Bring back Joe Gibbs. We've had worse. Facts, our winless year. Listen. We've had some tough times. Better off with Kevin, but y'all got what y'all wanted. Now the begging began. But 12, put 12 in. That's all y'all going to do next season. Dude had him in. Now what? Why did I read that comment? I lost 3 years of my life reading that comment. Sometimes I wonder, why do I read comments? I lost 3 years of my life reading that comment. I lived in Tampa when Gruden was coach. He's tough, but makes tough decisions. We'll miss Corey yelling 5 wide. Any early favorites you have for making to the Super Bowl this year besides Bad Bunny? Listen, I think Sam Darnold wants to show he can win the big game. This year's tough. No team stands out to me, Laser, as a perennial favorite. But if I want to pick, I'm going to pick with my heart, because I'm an Ohio State Buckeye, and Nick Chubb is my dear, dear friend, and I love him. I would go, because I'm picking with my heart, the Houston Texans, because I'm picking with my heart. verse until you beat the champs, you got to go with the champs. I'm going to go Philadelphia Eagles. They have to be beat. Have they been worse this year? Yes, they have. But until they're beat, I'm going it with them. Do I think they're going to go? No. But I'm going Houston versus Philly. Do I believe it's going to happen with Houston? No. But I'm picking with my heart, CJ Stroud, Nick Chubb. Come on. Texans, Eagles. You have to beat the champs before I'm going to pick against them. Philly, Texans. That's my picks. Buffalo. I can't wait for Shador to get a whole offseason to practice with the ones. And that's all you can ask for. No matter who you want at quarterback, just give them reps for the entire offseason. Whether it's Shador, whether it's Deshaun, whether it's whoever they get. Give them reps in practice. That's all I want. Can they get reps? Who can think that a 6 wins in 2 years can be great for $1 billion company? I don't know. Philly. Sorry, Cool Breeze. Listen, I thought the same thing, Cool Breeze, when it was Kansas City, right? When Kansas City won the Super Bowl, I couldn't pick against them until I seen them get beat. Even when everybody said, Kansas City's, it's over for them. They're not going to do it. And then they would go in, beat Buffalo when Buffalo was favored finally to get over that hump. And Kansas City did it again. Where do you think Kevin Stefanski is going to land? Kevin Stefanski is gone, right? AB is still here. The general manager's here. Kevin Stefanski is gone. Where do you think Kevin is going to land now? A lot of you said the Browns are going to get Brian Flores. Maybe Tommy Reese stays. You want Jim Schwartz. I've heard John Gruden. I've heard Deion Sanders, which is not going to happen. You can book that. Deion's not happening. I think he's going to stay in Colorado. But where do you think Kevin lands? Out of all this, we've talked about what's happening with Cleveland. What's going to happen with Kevin? Where's he going to go? Where do we think Kevin goes? Why is it a joke keeping Barry? Barry knocked it out the park last year. Besides Dylan Gabriel, Barry knocked it out the park. And now, listen, you all know why I hate Andrew Barry. It's because of the jersey on my wall. There it is. Because he's gone. So I still hate Andrew Barry. I hate him. Okay? Okay, hate's a strong word. I don't like him. It's a personal thing. Because he let go of Nick Chubb. Okay? But I think, listen, when you did what you did last year without draft, I think it's kind of hard to fire somebody after that. I really think it is. Now, I don't think you should give him more power. But keeping him where he's at now, I have no problem with it. Do you think the draft they would get a quarterback, and why they keep talking about 2027 quarterbacks? Are we going through it? Listen, I don't think they'll draft a quarterback now. They're in the 6th spot. They would have to move up to get a quarterback. So I don't think they draft a quarterback this year. I do say this. If, for some reason, Shador Sanders goes backwards, or the Browns are in the same position, they will do everything in their power in the 2027 draft to get Arch Manning. Jimmy Haslam loves Arch Manning with all of his heart. If for some reason the Browns are in position to get a quarterback, Jimmy Haslam will do everything in his heart, in his power, to get Arch Manning. If for some reason Shador Sanders slides backwards, doesn't progress, doesn't get better, or we have a bad record, or whatever the case may be, he loves Arch Manning and will do everything in his power in the 2027 draft to get him. If we're in the same predicament that we are this year and have a chance to get a quarterback. in my opinion. New York, Oakland, Atlanta or Jets. Kevin's going to sit on the bench and take care of his kids. Raiders or Giants. Barry needs fired. 6 years and a terrible offense and one good draft. Throw him out the door. Don't say book it on Sanders. You know what happens when you say that. That is true. I won't say book it. My book it's aren't very track record good. Barry got more power, is in charge of finding the new head coach. Kevin and his guy, DG, were about themselves, not the team. They did the dirty work, so he gets the walking papers. Barry, one good year of the draft. I would love to get Brian Flores, but I don't want to lose Schwartz. I think Stefanski lands in Oakland. I think he is someone Brady would like. They need a receiver. We got to get rid of Jimmy. We will never do anything with him as the owner. Well, Adam, that's never going to happen. Look at the Dallas Cowboys, Adam. They've been saying that for years. Sorry, Cool Breeze. We got to get rid of Jerry Jones. You can't get rid of the owner. It's not possible. That's why Andrew Barry played the long game, chess. They got to have a bad season. I know, Big Dog. That's what I'm saying. If they're in the same position next year, that's why I believe that. I hope we're not in the same position. You know what the worst thing of being, streaming watch parties is having a terrible team. I want to win. It's fun streaming winning games, chat. You know how much fun I have when we're winning? Oh, my God. It's beautiful. I don't want to sit here and stream more losing games. I want to win. So that scenario is if we're in the same position. Dear God, I hope we're not. Please, Lord. Please, Lord. Please. Do I think they'll keep Jerry Jeudy? I think they have no choice. What are you going to do with them? I don't know what you do with Jerry Jeudy. It was a blast yesterday. I don't know what you do with Jerry Jeudy. You can fire Kevin Stefanski. I mean, you can get rid of Jerry Jeudy. Nobody will take him. Like, you're not going to trade him. Nobody wants you, Jerry Jeudy, after the season he had. The drops, the going off on your quarterback on the sideline, the fumbles. I mean, you can release him, but you're not going to get anything for him. Like, I don't think the Browns are in a position to just release talent at the wide receiver position. They don't have the depth. They go, you know what? We're just going to release Jerry Jeudy. They don't have that talent to do that. They don't have that luxury just to get rid of a receiver, unfortunately. What up, Brandy? This is true, Brandy. He is fired. Adam Schefter and ESPN tweeted it, so it's official. The only consistent Browns football, Corey, Dog Check Channel, and saying there's always next year. How you doing, Brandy? Jimmy just said Barry kept his job because of the draft. And Collins. He should have been fired. Don't even know why he was ever coach of the year. He sucked. He did not suck when he was coach of the year. He did not suck when he was coach of the year. He was very good when he was coach of the year. I will not do that to Kevin Stefanski because I am a truth teller. When he was coach of the year, he was a good coach. That's why he got coach of the year. But the past 2 years, he has not been a very good coach, and that's why he got fired. You are of what have you done for me lately in the NFL. It's not your resume. It's what have you done for me lately. And that's why he got fired. And that's why his record is a 44% record. Because when you go 8-26 in the past 2 years, you really can't justify keeping that coach. Especially, and we talked about it during the beginning of the stream, the way they handled the quarterback position this year. And I'm not even going to talk about Shador Sanders because we already know how Shador was handled, right? Let's take Shador out of it. Let's just look at how they handled it. You bring in 4 quarterbacks to compete for one job. Where do they do that at? You name me one franchise in the past 5 years who had 4 quarterbacks competing, quotation marks, for one position. I don't know one. Who does that? That already right now shows me we don't know what we're doing. And I think that was the beginning of the end for Kevin Stefanski. Offensive linemen and all draft picks to be used there. Who to pick for the head coach? Brian Flores is rumored. Mike McDaniel is rumored. People saying John Gruden, Tommy Reese, Jim Schwartz. I will say this. If Shador does not perform, it would hurt to see him not start. But I get it. The NFL is a cutthroat business. It's about the money. We need to draft Tate and then sign a good number 2, either through the draft or free agency, and put JJ in the slot. The owner is speaking now on 92 The Fan. Same story in Cleveland. No patience. Okay. Listen. I'm all about patience. But listen, this is not a time to say Cleveland has no patience. If anything, they've gave Kevin Stefanski all the patience in the world. They have stuck with Kevin Stefanski, kind of like they stuck with Hugh Jackson. They gave Hugh Jackson a little too much time. They've gave Kevin Stefanski a lot of rope. People thought he should have been gone 3 years ago. And at that time, I said they were crazy. So to say no patience is wild. Is wild at this point. But to each his own. I think if the competition would have been fair, he could have kept his job. And he might have kept his job if it was a competition. Why can't they just get a receiver and O-line? It doesn't make sense. You know, it would make sense if they did just do that. But it's Cleveland, and you never know what's going to happen. Randall, but I do hope and pray that is what they do in the draft. He should have been gone last year. People got to realize you have a new stadium coming up. New stadiums. The owner of the money who can sell that stadium out every Sunday. Yeah. You want to sell tickets. You got to sell them tickets for the stadium. They suck with him at least 1 year longer than they should. They stuck with him 1 year longer than they should have. I don't know. Maybe not. I am a nice person, so I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I do believe the time was now. Ugly won't win anywhere. So, it's going to be interesting what we do from here on out, where Kevin lands, who the Browns get. I will say this. I think the Browns need to take their time in selecting their next coach because they have 2 draft picks in the first round. They need to hit these draft picks out of the park. I believe you need to go receiver, offensive line, receiver. I think that's the way you go. You have got to protect your quarterback. Whoever it is, you have got to protect your quarterback, and they need somebody to throw to. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, January 5th, 2026, remember where you were. It was the day that Kevin Stefanski was fired, and a new day begins for the Cleveland Browns. That's going to be it for me, ladies and gentlemen. The new era begins, and when we find out who the coach is, we're going to talk about it. We're going to dissect it. And we're going to agree or we're going to disagree. I appreciate everybody for coming out. You guys know the drill. Until next time, it's all love. Peace.